Instead of posting something that I'm really proud of and that I like, I thought that we do something a little different. Today, I'm sharing with you a sketchbook painting that I did that I feel didn't really live up to my own standards. Before you try and convince me that the painting looks great and you love it, I just want you to know that the definition of how we feel about our art, whether it's called bad art or ugly art, these are all really a perspective of what the artist feels. And one thing I notice about art making is my mood greatly influences what happens on my paper. Now, the thing is, I am a nap time painter, so the times that I get to paint is really limited where if my child naps, I get this space of being able to create something. And I tend to fall into this trap lately because of my sketchbook. And this trap I feel is called the productivity trap, where I notice myself moving in the direction of wanting beautiful artwork or something that I'm really proud of. But with art making, there's always going to be ups and downs. Just like any relationship that we are in, we will always have days where we feel good, and then there are also days of struggle. Flipping through my sketchbook always reminds me of the different adventures I've had with the different mediums that I've been playing with: gouache, watercolor, color pencils, and mixing media. And something that I notice as I'm reaching towards the end of this sketchbook is that I notice this pressure building up where I want each spread or each page to reflect something unique, something beautiful. However, this wasn't really the case for this painting. I am using gouache today, and I typically use gouache in a very thin consistency, almost like watercolor. I like the way in which it moves on a wet piece of paper. In fact, it doesn't move like the way watercolor does, but I just like the really nice fuzzy edges that I can get with gouache. I was attempting to recreate an impressionist style painting, and one thing I noticed about my art at this time when I was doing it was I got frustrated with the background. I like to have the green, but I also noticed that my colors were too transparent. Using gouache as a more transparent form than its opaque form meant that the layers tend to show underneath, and I noticed that I would get muddy mixes. This really made me feel really unhappy, but I continued going anyway. I was hoping and telling myself that despite not really liking what was happening in front of me, the experience of showing up and being present with myself to do the art and continue to push through was allowing me to build this sense of resilience for uncomfortable feelings when it comes to art making. It can be really easy for us to just decide that we don't want to do it anymore, or that we decide to give up on a piece of art. And I have given up on pieces of art, but today wasn't really one of those days. I thought that I'd share with you this painting and how it turned out anyway, because I want to share this reflection of how making ugly art should be a part of your practice as it is in mine. I feel like where there is ugly art, good art will slowly resurface and appear again. Just like there's rain, there's also going to be sun, and where there's light, there's also going to be shadows. So with the contrast, it really helps us to appreciate the days where we finally get things clicking and it really starts working for us. fun part about realizing that a piece of art is not really working out is this sudden drop in pressure where you suddenly feel like you are free to do as and what you wish. You start to break rules, you start to really discover new things about the medium. And I think that this is where every time I notice that an art piece is not working out in its midpoint, I feel so much more free, even though it didn't work out. And that's because suddenly I don't feel like I'm limited by rules anymore. And my mindset has gone beyond perfectionism, but rather I'm just embracing what is happening in front of me. Well, the strange thing is, as I'm sharing this with you, I'm kind of sharing the beauty of ugly art in that sense. That underneath all of those parts that we dislike about what we have done in front of us on our paper actually reveals so much unapologetic freedom and liberation to just do as we wish. And from that creative expression, we really start enjoying the experience instead of being bound by rules and bound by this pressure or weight of being perfect in doing our art. So I don't know about you, but given the limited time to create every day and also having other commitments like creating workshops and responding to emails or writing new workshop guides, all of these can really also add to the time limitation that I have. However, I really want to start noticing how ugly art should be a part of my practice as much as it should be in yours too. So I hope that this video encourages you to not just see or look at my process, but also start to help you to reflect on yours. Like with every video, I would love to hear your thoughts, whether or not ugly art is something that you would like to add into your practice. And if you notice the freedom of actually producing and making ugly art and how it actually enhances the art making experience more than you realize. I love sharing my insights with you, and I would also love to hear yours. So don't forget to comment, like, and do all of those things so that I know that this video resonated with you. I cannot wait to see you again next week. And until then, don't forget that every mistake is a masterpiece in disguise.